Hello, my impatience. How art thou? It is I, Andrew the Android Kowalski here, and I'm ready to perform for all of you. Somebody said Mental Health Awareness Month, April, and you see somebody throwing medication in the trash. They said you're all about to be very aware. All right, Rusty. I mean, it was a good photograph, but I'm still taking my Abilify 10 milligrams. So, although I'm not taking the Lamictal, yeah, but yeah, it's a funny joke. All right. So, good afternoon, my impatience. Good afternoon. So, I hope you guys and girls and women, let's see if this explodes. If this explodes, I'm going to blame this on somebody, but no, it didn't explode. All right. Should I set up the DSLR and create some content? All right. So what's going on today? To be honest, I don't have a lot to talk about. My life is pretty stagnant. Let's go to the comments here on YouTube. You know, time is really flying by for me. I'm wasting my life, and um, yeah, I'm wasting my life, and I need to realize, you know, I could be the problematic one. You know, it's me, the problematic one. Let's say, hypothetically speaking. Yeah, I realize you individuals can't be at my beck and call. You know, you're not going to always be able, and especially when I'm banning some of my biggest fans. You know, now I'm like, oh, why is nobody joining? Well, it's because you ban the people who interact with you, and you're surprised. Why is nobody coming to interact with you? It's because you're banning everybody. You're banning everybody, then you act shocked. You're like, why is nobody wanting to join? I'm bored. Me so bored. Hey Riki, how you doing? How art thou, Riki? He laughed. He just said, "Ha ha, ha ha, Riki, ha ha." What are you laughing at, Riki? Riki says good, and he does a thumbs up. What's good, Riki? What is good? Are you doing good? What does good mean? Can somebody elaborate? What does good mean? I always get paranoid when I hear people randomly say good. That they're saying it's good that the HIV scare happened. Andrew deserved it. You know, for things he's done in his past. He deserved the HIV scare. But apparently, you know, Riki's just saying his day is good. It's an idea of reference and predicate logic, you know, so don't be so paranoid. Hey, marijuana therapy, how art thou? Good to see you. How art thou, marijuana therapy? Marijuana therapy says, I'm good. How am I? I'm doing all right. I just took a little nap actually for an hour, which is pretty good. Hey TB, how you doing? How art thou, TB? TB says she's on the mend. She's been unwell. Sorry to hear that. Sorry to hear that. You're definitely a sweet person. Sorry to hear you've been on the mend. Anything that's getting you down in particular? Marijuana therapy asks, no Poppy and the Wild Man live this weekend. To be honest with you, I mean, I didn't even have I just didn't have a pleasant conversation with my father. I called him up and he was like, hello. And he was really nasty. And I was hoping to go up there today, but he was really nasty to me. So, you know, I'm not even real. I think the reason he was nasty to me was because of the Bukkake 75 men using my mother as an apology for the HIV scare. I think that was why he was nasty, and my mother's nasty too right now. So we said, yeah, I spoke to my mother about since the Bukkake incident. She was very upset. She was obviously very upset. My father was very upset too. Um, I don't know. Yeah, I guess they have a right to be. They have a right to be. They have a right to be. It was marijuana therapy says you should call your father and talk this out on the live stream right now. So somebody asks me, is it part of your fantasy to be beaten up by an old man? What do you mean? Nobody wants to be beaten up by an old man. Somebody says, did you not expect your father to be upset? Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess I should have realized that would upset them, and it definitely did. So, no, somebody says, you want to be squashed like an ant. No, I want to be squashed like an ant by a pop superstar, not by an old man. I have a masochistic death wish, but I want a pop superstar, a woman to step on me. Somebody says, very few people like being inserted into a Bukkake incident. Yeah, I guess that's a fair point. Somebody says, oh, how do they not appreciate my gallows humor? Meanwhile, yeah, so. Somebody says, what if it was Billy Joel who was stepping on you? Even so, I'm not gonna. Maybe years ago, I was interested in rich, powerful, successful, famous old men, but now in recent years, I think I'm into women. Nothing. I mean, he's got a lot of hits, got a lot of hit songs, but um, yeah, I'm into women. Somebody says, what if somebody was, I don't know. Ah. Somebody asks, have I seen the movie Turbo? It's about a snail that goes fast. That's interesting. Anybody want to see me set up the DSLR and do some performances? Hi, Erie. Long time no see. How art thou, Erie? I don't know where you've been. Have you been on vacation or something? No, she just hasn't been watching. Okay, fair enough. Should I set up the DSLR and create videos? Erie found that the bukkake with my mom and 75 Men funny. Thank you. Some people appreciate the comedy. So I mean, obviously, maybe if it's you. My mother didn't take well to it though. Oh, Tara, we got my buddy Tara in the chat. No, I'm not. I'm still on Abilify 10 milligrams. Hey, Tara, how art thou? How art thou, my buddy? How art thou? Thanks for all the hard work you're putting into my songs. Some real banging tunes from Tara. You got to give her props. You got to give Tara props for sure. Ah. Tara says she couldn't do the tunes and what she does without my transient use of Abilify. Tara says, take your meds, Andrew. Erie says, I really enjoyed Tara's song Asian Woman. Thanks for respecting my culture, Tara. Yeah. Obviously, Tara really made that song come to life. So Tara says, I'm sorry for Hiroshima. Somebody says, Tara looks beautiful in a kimono, I might add. Somebody asks, are you apologetic for Nagasaki? Are you sorry for that too, Tara? Of course she is. We're very apologetic for Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We're very apologetic. We appreciate the beauty and we love Asian women. No, Tara says no. Fuck Nagasaki. She's apologetic for Hiroshima though. Erie says that was in the past. All is forgiven. I speak for all the victims and their families. All right, people. Do you want me to set up the green screen and perform on camera? I could do a rendition of Tara's song. Erie says no. Stay here. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, the HIV scare was premeditated. Let's say there's a sadistic persecutor, whether it be my mother, my parents, or whoever. Let's say somebody intended to do that to me. Well, it made me feel defective and damaged. It was like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. It was like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. The only logical apology someone can do, assuming they did it to me, is do a bukkake with 75 men. Because obviously it was my choice. Obviously there's no there's going to be no Supreme Court case. Nobody is getting sued. Nobody is going to jail. But it made me feel defective and damaged. It was like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. It was like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. So let's say my mother did that to me. Obviously, she would, as an apology to me, it would be her choice. She would be choosing to do this. Nobody would be forcing her to do bukkake porn. But as an I'm sorry, she would voluntarily do bukkake porn. Because I felt pristine. I'd been involuntarily celibate for my whole life. It made me feel defective and damaged. It was like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. It was like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. So, obviously, I think the only appropriate punishment for my mother, assuming she wants to do this, and assuming she did this to me at all, hypothetically speaking, if the HIV skit was premeditated, as an apology, she needs to get used by 75 men in bukkake porn. Because, it was like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. All right, there we go. Somebody asks, how did you come up with bukkake porn? Well, I don't know. Erie says, I think we need to flesh out this bukkake porn idea a little bit more. Erie says, yes, people in Japan are the originators of bukkake porn. Yeah, it's actually pretty disgusting. I mean, imagine 75 men using you. That's pretty gross. Yeah, 75 is a lot. Believe it or not, there's actually people that do that. It's pretty disgusting. It's almost like 100. I think there's people that do 100 too. Somebody says 75 men would take some time. Yeah, it's pretty bad. Somebody says, "How did you?" It was meant to be absurd. Somebody says, "How did you come up with the number 75?" Somebody says, "Didn't some lady do 1,000?" I'm sure there's somebody out there that's did 1,000. That's pretty bad. That must have taken all day. But I'm generous. I'm forgiving of my mother. If she wants to only do 75 and not 1,000, then that's fine. If my mother wants to get used by 75 men, okay, fair enough. So he says, if you say so, Christy. Marijuana therapy says, I think your mother would like it. She'd probably. Erie says, let's meet halfway and have your mother go for 500. All right, fair enough. If you say so, Christine. So he says, I don't think Dale is going to, my stepfather is going to give her the permission for her to do that, though. But it would be an apology. It would be an apology. Oh no, yeah, no. If my mother was gonna do a bukkake with 75 men, she should definitely film it. It should definitely be monetized. Yes, absolutely. This would have to be recorded. But I'm just joking. Would I watch it? Probably not. So he says, thank goodness for that. So yeah, definitely not. Somebody says, how would you know your mother did that? It would be the honor system. It's kind of like people who eat 75 hot dogs. And I'm not talking about like, I'm talking about like the hot dog eating contest. Some of it's kind of like, okay, did they really eat 75 hot dogs? I'll just take their word for it. All right. My mother would say, hey, Andrew, I took 75 men and I filmed it as a way to apologize. I'd say, thank you, Mom. I appreciate your apology. So does anybody want me to set up the DSLR and record some videos? Erie says, no. Damn it, Erie. I want to, though. I want to set up the DSLR and record. Dun, 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 dun. Somebody says, what are my dinner plans? I hope my mother will cook for me. I hope she'll cook me some salmon, but if she doesn't, maybe I'll go to Miller's Ale House and get a burger. Somebody says, is my mother bringing me food today? Maybe not. Where can I go to get dinner? Where can I go to get dinner? Somebody says, ask your mother to make you a foot long with extra mayo. She didn't bring me food yesterday. I had to go get hibachi from an expensive hibachi restaurant. And I was like the lonely single man eating alone in a hibachi restaurant. Like there were couples all around. There were people with families. There were people hanging out. And I'm like the lonely single man eating hibachi alone because my mother refused to cook for me. So he says, tell your mother to get over the bukkake video and just bring me a goddamn sandwich. Get over the bukkake video, Mom, and bring me a sandwich. So he says, I was forced to go to hibachi because my mother wouldn't make me sit food. Damn it. Damn my mother. Somebody says, your mother needs to grow up, Andrew. All right, I like this Tara. I like this Tara. She comes to my defense. She's definitely playing the good cop role with me. Tara says, adult protective services need to step in and help you, Andrew. They need to help you. Thank you, Tara. Thank you. Somebody says, your mother is basically starving you, Andrew. Your mother is basically starving you. Anybody want to see me do the Beach Boys Getting Hungry on DSLR? Anybody want to see me do a rendition of the Beach Boys Getting Hungry? Tara, what are some of your favorite live streams other than me? The inpatients I've banned were Patrick, Chiba, Pete, and Dave. Those are the ones I banned. Yeah, I mean, Dave was constantly telling me to eat shit and leave the old folks. Someone says, you should bring back Dave. I might bring back Dave. But Dave was constantly giving me the middle finger, telling me to eat shit, to leave the old folks alone. I'm just like, I can't deal with that anymore. No, I might bring Dave back. So he says, go to the block list and unban Dave. All right, I'll unban Dave. I'll go to the block list now. Settings. How do you go there? Channel. General permissions. No. Community moderation. Okay, I unblocked Dave. So he says, now do Chiba. No, Chiba's on timeout. Chiba's on timeout. Somebody, Erie says, Chiba is my little bro. All right. Anybody want me to hook up the DSLR? Any song suggestions? So he says, what happened to Alice? I don't know what happened to Alice. Yeah, I definitely miss Alice. Somebody says, yeah, hook up the DSLR. Somebody says, only if you reenact. Somebody says, I heard Alice is really successful. That's great. I'm happy for Alice and her success. I just punched my head and I cracked my knuckle, but it kind of hurt. It's okay. It didn't hurt that bad. It hurt a little bit, though. Big Papa says, Andrew, you should try extreme amounts of psychedelics. No, I don't. That would probably lead to brain damage. Not to say I don't have brain damage already. TV says, you're a puddinhead, Andrew. Puddinhead. Erie asks, did I take stimulant medication for ADHD as a kid? Yeah, I took Ritalin and Adderall, yes. How come? Why do you ask, Erie? Why do you ask? I was diagnosed with ADHD as a kid, yeah. How old? I guess when I was in middle school, maybe elementary school. Late elementary school, early middle school. How come? Why do you ask? Just curious. Somebody says, I was reading that 50% of people with schizophrenia are thought to have developed it because of medication use. Interesting theory. Very, very interesting theory. I don't know if it's true or not, but yeah, I definitely was on Ritalin and Adderall, and my brain was definitely developing at that time. Very interesting theory. Tara says, sounds plausible. Sounds plausible. Somebody asks, were you acting up before the ADHD diagnosis? I wouldn't say so. Maybe fidgeting in my chair and failing tests and not concentrating, not focusing. Somebody says, Andrew is 100% well-adjusted. Then the meds did this. Do you know me from my childhood? Tara says, no, she just met me. Somebody says, is Andrew even schizo? It's not like he hears voices. Well, I get delusions, and I definitely at the very least have delusional disorder. Somebody says, sue the doctors. Sue the goddamn doctors. Well, they'll say there's no medical evidence, TV asks, why did your parents dismiss Dr. Copland? I'm not really sure. Somebody says, you need to make a video about an even better apology from Christine. Get sensational. Somebody says, do it. Set up the DSLR. All right. Here we go. Don't be scared. Don't be scared that I'm going away, guys. All right. This is my tripod. This is my tripod. Somebody says this is my laziest content doing my performances. If you say so. If you say so. Press 1 if you want to hear him talk about Bukkake. 1. Okay, here we go. Okay. All right. So my DSLR is set up here. So which songs do you guys want to see me perform? Which songs do you want to see me perform here? So somebody wants to see the Bukkake song again. Okay. Let's say hypothetically speaking, the HIV scare was premeditated. Let's say there's a sadistic persecutor who did that to me. Let's say it was my parents or family. Let's say there was a persecutor. Well, it made me feel defective and damaged. It was like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. It was like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. So as an apology to me, I think the only appropriate thing my mother or whoever could do would be a bukkake where 75 men use her. You know, because obviously the evidence is it was my choice. Nobody is going to jail. There's going to be no lawsuit. There's going to be no Supreme Court case. But it really traumatized me. And assuming they did it to me, as an apology, they should do a bukkake. Because it's like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. It was like there was a bukkake of 75 men torturing me. It made me feel HIV positive. I don't know. Yeah. All right. Somebody says it's just the same song. Okay. Somebody says this is definitely hell. Okay. We'll do something else here. Let's try to do a better take. All right. Okay. Here we go. Better take here. So somebody said, you know, obviously, would 75 men for my mother, a bukkake as an apology if hypothetically speaking the HIV scare was premeditated? Would that be enough? Or should she do something more, you know, dehumanizing, and should she do something more degrading as an apology? Somebody says, what could she do? You know, 75 men, a 75-man bukkake, that's a pretty appropriate apology if she, you know, intentionally made you have an HIV scare and pharmacologically abused you. Okay, fair enough. I don't know, maybe 77 men or 1,000 men, I don't know. What are some ideas? What are some ideas? What could my mother do to apologize to me if she made me feel defective and damaged? She took somebody who was pristine and made me feel, you know, what could she do? Somebody says, let's brainstorm a song together. All right, what's a song we could do here? 6, 6, 6, 6. No, I've taken my medication, guys. I take my Abilify 10 milligrams. All right, yeah, it doesn't. I don't really have any video ideas, so I'm gonna come back here to the live stream here. Somebody says you need to do another Dog Sin song. Tower, are you still here? Tower, are you still here? I hope I didn't scare her away by redoing the bukkake song. Oh, she's still here. Okay, cool. Nice. My buddy's still here. She's just listening. Okay, fair enough. La 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 la. All right, guys. Any yeah, I've kind of run out of things to talk about here, and I'm not going to talk about the dog sin or anything like that. So let's try to get a fresh topic. Let's try to get a fresh topic here. What's going on in the news? What's going on in the news? Cool Man asks, "Did you hear about the tariffs?" No. What's going on with tariffs? What's going on with tariffs? Somebody says, "Talk about Trump, man. He's taxing." I know yesterday some people wanted to see me do the Beach Boys Getting Hungry. Anybody want to see that or not really? I know somebody yesterday asked to see the Beach Boys Getting Hungry. Oh, Cool Man says, "Hell yeah." Marijuana therapy says, "Not really." Rusty says, "Break stuff." Okay, which one do you want me to? Which one do you want me to do? Beach Boys Getting Hungry or Break Stuff? Somebody says, "Break stuff." Break stuff. Here we go. It's just one of those days where you don't want to wake up. Everything is fucked. Everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you want to justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact. And if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just one of those days. It's all about the he said, she said bullshit. I think you better quit it, letting shit slip, or you be leaving with a fat lip. It's all about the he said, she said bullshit. I think you better quit it, talking that shit, punk. It's just one of those days feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with a blood stain. Damn right I'm a maniac. You better watch your back, cause I'm fucking up your program. And if you're stuck up, you just lucked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just one of those days. It's all about the he said, she said bullshit. I think you better quit it, letting shit slip, or you'll be leaving with a fat lip. It's all about the he said, she said bullshit. I think you better quit it, talking that shit. So come and get it. I feel like shit. And my suggestion is to keep your distance, because right now I'm dangerous. We've all felt like shit and been treated like shit. All those motherfuckers who want to step up, I hope you know I pack a chainsaw. I'll skin your ass raw. And if my day keeps going this way, I just might break something tonight. I pack a chainsaw. I'll skin your ass raw. And if my day keeps going this way, I just might break something tonight. I pack a chainsaw. I skin your ass raw. And if my day keeps going this way, I just might break your fucking face tonight. Give me something to break. Just give me something to break. Give me something to break. How about your fucking face? I hope you know I pack a chainsaw. What? A chainsaw. What? A motherfucking chainsaw. What? So come and get it. It's all about the he said, she said bullshit. I think you better quit it, letting shit slip, or you be leaving with a fat lip. It's all about the he said, she said bullshit. I think you better quit it, talking that shit, punk. So come and get it. All right. So what do you want to see me do now? Tara said scary, LOL. Somebody wants to know what the cell waters mean. So, one sec. So obviously my former internet pseudonym was Cell Waters. I'm now known as Andrew the Android Koloski, and Andrew Koloski is my real name. But somebody wants to know, what does Cell Waters mean and why did I use that name? Well, first off, at the time I was looking for work and I wanted to hide from employers. I wanted to hide from my family. I wanted to hide from potential romantic partners because I didn't want my crazy social media content to sabotage jobs and relationships. Cell Waters. Why did I come up with the pseudonym Cell Waters? Well, Cell comes from Dragon Ball Z. You know, the Cell saga was the best saga. And, Cell, somebody says, Cell was a villain, though. Do you consider yourself to be a villain? No, I consider myself to be angelic, a goody two-shoes, like a bunny. I don't consider myself to be a villain. I thought Cell sounded cool. And Waters comes from Roger Waters of Pink Floyd, especially the Wall concept album. I was socially isolated, socially alienated, and I built up a wall that separated me from the rest of the world. I was in solitary confinement, and, because there were a lot of parallels and similarities between me and Roger Waters and me and Syd Barrett and Pink Floyd, I chose the surname Waters. So Cell Waters, that's how I came up with it. And I used it for many years. However, mid last year, not this year, in 2024, I retired Cell Waters for good. And I'm now known as Andrew Koloski. I'm performing under my real name. I guess it's like a wrestler who leaves the big leagues and goes to the indie and uses his real name or something like that. I don't know. So there you go. Somebody says, can't lie, that was pretty slick. All right, anybody want to see the Beach Boys getting hungry? Somebody says, unban Pete and Chiba. Iris says, talk about the bukkake. Talk about the bukkake. Okay, one more video. We need one more video here. Uno more video. Someone wants Sadistic Puppet Master. All right, that's a good one. How about the chastity belt? Does anybody want the chastity belt? Let's try this one. On the day I turned 18, my mom told me to strap it on. Strap on my chastity belt. Strap on my chastity belt. I'm so hungry. I want sex. I want a woman to fill me up like food. But my mother tells me you need to keep on your chastity belt. You need to keep on your chastity belt. I have a sex drought. I'm a 24-year-old virgin, and I'm descending into madness. I have psychiatric hospitalizations from lack of romance. But my mom says, keep on your chastity belt. Keep on your chastity belt. Then when I turn 24 years old, my mother says, I beg my mother, Mom, can I take off my chastity belt? And she says, yes, you may. And I have sex. But then she puts back on my chastity belt. Then she puts back on my chastity. I don't like this one. Somebody wants sadistic But basically, I needed to get to the point where I was going to say my chains were internal, not maternal. So some people... All right. Anybody want the Beach Boys Getting Hungry? We got one more video. One more request. Pick an obscure song of mine. Pick an obscure song of mine that you want me to perform. Erie says, no fucking Beach Boys. Pink Floyd? Somebody says, do the Andrew rap. Freestyle. Innocent. All right. I was so innocent. 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 Innocence take my life away. Innocence take my breath away. Innocence take me away to a greater and happy place. Innocence take my life away. Innocence take my breath away. Innocence take me away to a greater and happy place. I was vulnerable. I was naive. And you got sadistic pleasure from stripping me of my innocence. 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 Innocence take my breath away. Innocence take my life away. Innocence take me away to a greater and happy place. Innocence take me away today. I see a woman in her early 20s. She's naive, and she's looking at me lovingly. She is so innocent. 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 Innocence take my breath away. Innocence take my life away. But I want to protect her. I want to preserve her innocence. 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 Submissive girl. You are such a submissive girl. You're young as well. I don't want to go to hell. Submissive girl. You are such a submissive girl. You're young as well. I don't want to go to hell. You are so innocent. 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 Innocence. Somebody says that was a wholesome song. That was a wholesome song, yes. No, that's a song about love. That's a song about love. All right, guys. I think on that note, that should do it for the live stream today. All right, peace out, my guys.